Hi friends, we are living through such a crazy time right now with the coronavirus, things being shut down, things starting to reopen, people wondering what the new normal is going to look like and when it's going to arrive. And all of this, not surprisingly, has me thinking about Tibetan teachings on the bardo states. And bardo states, for those who are not familiar with what that means, it just means in between. So these teachings talk about the cycle of death and rebirth, but they can also be interpreted more metaphorically to talk about cycles of change and transition, and that's what I want to do with this course. Part of what's coming out of this being on my mind is that I want to offer 4 weeks of a live course on basically transitions, how to grow through transitions, which is what the Bardo teachings are really all about. And that course is going to start, I'll just check my phone, make sure I get the dates right. We'll start Wednesday, June 27th. The live version will have pre-recorded teachings and meditations, things like that. But then there will also be a live conversation every week, every Wednesday at 12:30 at Central Time. So it's going to be from May 27th through June 17th. Everybody is invited. And so basically what we're going to talk about are the teachings on the Bardo states and how that can apply to our lives and particularly to this moment that we're living through. The 4 bardo states that we're going to talk about in this course are the bardo of this life, so basically from the time we're born till the time we start dying. The bardo of death, which begins basically with the actively dying process and ends when we're dead. The bardo of clear light, which is, according to Tibetan Buddhist teachings, when our body, our ordinary levels of mind, all the stuff we think we are has dissolved and fallen apart, and we're left with just our true nature. That's the bardo of clear light. And then there's the bardo of becoming. So this is the period between the end of the death process, so the very end of the bardo of clear light, and the beginning of taking a new birth. And that bardo of becoming is really like an in-between time. So a lot of visions and things may appear to us according to the traditional teachings, but our job, if you want to put it that way, during this time is just to recognize all of those as expressions of reality. So not as external objects and then I'm over here. And then there's also Tibetan teachings on gestation and how the new takes form, basically. So in this course, what I want to talk about really is the way that those states apply to our lives too. Because for a lot of us, we go through life, and if we're in kind of a stable, steady state, like we have a job, we have our relationships with people, whether the job is good or not, whether the relationships are good or not, we kind of have a stable sense of ourselves and our own identity. And for that reason, it can be really disruptive when something like the coronavirus happens and suddenly massive numbers of people are losing their jobs. We're not able to have the same kind of social contacts. We're not able to see people. And it can, for some people, be really, really threatening to our sense of identity. I'm talking here about the coronavirus, but it could be a lot of different types of transition. You get married. You get divorced, you have a child, you suddenly have an empty nest, you retire, you start a new job. There's all these transitions that we go through in our daily lives. And the thing that's really struck me as I go through my own transitions is that these teachings on the bardo states kind of provide a roadmap. Because sometimes when the old is in the process of falling apart, so like the analog of the bardo of death, it just feels chaotic. It feels like we're losing who we are, everything is falling apart, we don't know what's coming next, and it can be difficult to maintain a sense of what direction you're headed in, what your core values are. And so for that reason, these teachings on the bardo states can be helpful because they remind us, okay, when everything else is being stripped away, there is something left. We're getting down to a sort of core of who we have always been. So these kinds of transitional states can really offer the opportunity to reflect on who we are, where we've been, where we're going, what's important to us. And I think the same thing is true of the coronavirus situation. And I just want to say, before talking about the opportunities that this offers, I want to say that this is not a pandemic that affects everyone equally. It's very clear that people who have to show up to low wage jobs are being disproportionately impacted. Black and brown people are being disproportionately impacted. So I don't want to sugarcoat the situation. And, particularly for people who are older or who have underlying health conditions, this is not a short-term thing that's just going to blow over, the coronavirus. But I do want to say, for a lot of us, we have an opportunity, if we've been socially distancing, we've been stuck inside, whatever you want to call that, we've had an opportunity to notice what relationships we're keeping up with, what activities seem important, what do we miss. I can tell y'all a lot of stuff that I miss. Even little things about going to the gym, I used to take like a washcloth, and I'd have one side of the washcloth that would be for like sweat and my face, and the other side would be for cleaning off gym equipment. I used to think that was kind of weird and gross, and I wanted my gym to offer, spray bottles and little paper towels so I could wipe everything down. I would love to have that problem now. So it just kind of, being forced into a situation where we have to step aside from our usual routine makes us notice and appreciate the things that we've lost. And to me, a big part of the benefit of reflecting on death and rebirth, whether it's literally or metaphorically, is that it can help keep us from missing what is good right now. Too often you hear about people who are diagnosed with a terrible illness, or they're coming to the end of their lives, and they regret not having lived differently, or not just having appreciated what was good in their lives while it was still there. So for me, the opportunity to come together and reflect on who we are, where we're going, what's good in our lives, what changes we've made that we want to keep going forward, all of that is a really precious opportunity. So my hope is that with this course, first of all, we'll be able to connect with like-minded people. I'll also offer a version of it that's just the pre-recorded parts, because I'm sure some people won't be able to join the live sessions. But I'm hoping that either way, either with the live sessions or the pre-recorded sessions, it'll give us an opportunity to pause, reflect, and most of all, appreciate what's good right now. So I hope you can join me. And whatever platform you're watching this video on, I will share some links at the bottom so that you can register if you want. The registration will be limited, probably to 12 to 15 people. So if you're interested, please go ahead and sign up now. And I hope that you are safe, that you are well, and that if it's possible, you can find some kind of growth in the middle of some not great circumstances in this pandemic. All right. Take care. Be well. Bye for now.